Celebrating a history and a culture that for decades has had to live in the shadows. These Bolivians of African descent reclaiming their past and singing of freedom. It is the first time in almost 100 years that a direct descent of African slaves has been recognized as a leader and as king of his community. Julio Pinedo is the bearer of the title. He's also known as King Bonifacio, and he was recently crowned in a ceremony in the capital, La Paz.
De allá de Congo.
This is one of my ancestors. They were brought from Congo to work in the mines of Potosí. My great-grandfather was a king, so I inherited the title. The slaves couldn't survive the weather and the high altitude, so they were brought here, to the Yungas. And here in the Yungas, around 4 hours from the capital, they made a living, working in the fields where the coca leaf grows, but still with no land and no opportunities.
Thanks to Evo Morales' reforms, our rights have been legally recognized in the Constitution. Before, we were not even considered as Bolivians. In the United States, they now have a black candidate to the presidency, but here, we were never able to achieve anything.
For years, Bolivia's indigenous communities and anyone who wasn't white were left outside the country's power structure. Evo Morales, the country's first indigenous president, is changing that. The Afro-Bolivian community has been ignored for centuries, but now for the first time in many years, the state has looked their way. For this community, having a king is having an authority that will help them defend their rights. Alejandro grows the coca leaf and is campaigning to get to own the land he's working on. He's taking advantage of Evo Morales' socialist reforms and the government's plans to redistribute land.
The government has said that they will redistribute all land that is not being used. All this area belongs to rich people that never come here. They don't even exploit it. We have already put in a bid and we are waiting.
And waiting is something that men like Pedro Rey have gotten used to. He's 91 years old, and although slavery was officially banned in the 19th century, it continued for many years after. Pedro was a victim.
I used to be whipped and forced to work. Now things have changed, but our community continues to be forgotten. Our children have no access to education, no health care. I hope that being part of the Constitution will change all that.
Being black in Bolivia continues to be a challenge, but these people hope things will change soon. They're seeing a chance for equality and say they're ready to seize it. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Murarata, Bolivia.